10 years ago, when I was first introduced to the concept of inner child healing, I'll be honest, I was not convinced. And it wasn't until I had my own experience during a heart centered hypnotherapy session when I actually reconnected to my inner child that everything shifted and I catapulted on my healing journey. The idea of the inner child is not just a concept. It's the part of you that still holds the emotional imprints, unmet needs, and protective patterns from your earliest years. And if you've ever found yourself having a larger emotional reaction than the situation calls for, struggling with your self worth, and feeling on edge for no apparent reason, your inner child is definitely running the show. Today, I'm going to show you the very first steps in reconnecting with your own inner child in a way that feels safe, grounded, and real. So you can start meeting the unmet needs that you didn't even know were showing up in your life. The inner child is a part of you. It's the part that holds your stored memories, emotions, and learned beliefs in childhood. It lives in the subconscious mind and the body, especially in the nervous system. When your needs weren't met consistently for love, validation, safety, and autonomy, that child part of you learned how to adapt through people pleasing, emotional suppression, perfectionism, and abandoning your own needs. So, as adults, those adaptations show up in the form of self abandonment. And when we overlook this very important part on our healing journey and we dismiss working with our own inner child or even reconnecting with her, you're ignoring the root of your very patterns that are driving your thoughts, beliefs, and actions. And without this reconnection, our healing often stays on a surface level. We feel like we're doing all the work, but not making a lot of progress. We feel stuck and overwhelmed in our own healing journey. And that's because you're only managing symptoms. True reconnection creates a dynamic where you can regulate your nervous system and feel safe in your own body. You feel confident expressing your needs and showing up for yourself. You're able to meet yourself with kindness and compassion instead of judgment and criticism. You actually build a completely different relationship to yourself and you quiet the internal critic. You'll also find that you're more emotionally resilient and that you can become far more intentional in being emotionally responsive instead of emotionally reactive. For years, I didn't realize that I was actually still living by the rules my younger self made to survive. Like, my needs don't matter, and if I meet everyone else's emotional needs, I'll be safe. And it wasn't until that heart centered hypnotherapy session that I finally realized how much I had been neglecting that part of myself that had been wounded, hurt, rejected, abandoned, and left all alone with all that pain until I hit a place in my life where everything seemed so out of control and I was highly emotionally reactive and my nervous system was completely dysregulated and I was having such a difficult time functioning in daily life that I realized this wasn't actually the adult part of me reacting. It was the little girl within me who was desperately trying to get my attention and get her needs met. The things that she needed in childhood, but never got. And once I could see her and hear her messages and hold her with love and compassion and learn to respond differently, my relationships, boundaries, and sense of self-worth changed and started to shift in a way that no amount of therapy or positive thinking ever had. But the first step in this process is actually just awareness and recognition. We have to learn to identify when our inner child is active and is running the show. Some signs that you might become aware of. having strong emotional reactions that seem out of proportion with the situation. A lot of emotional reactivity is a good sign that the inner child has taken the reins. Feeling small, helpless, or invisible, or falling into a victim mentality. Having an urgent need to please others or avoid conflict, or sudden shame or self criticism after making a mistake, or perceiving disappointment from others. And the goal isn't to fix it in the moment, it's actually to pause, notice it, and name it, to give yourself space, to take a deep breath, and to recognize this feels big because little me has gotten activated. Naming it breaks the loop and opens the door to change, because that younger, more vulnerable part of you just wants somebody to see her and listen to her and let her know everything is going to be okay. She really just wants to feel seen and safe and supported, because she rarely received those things in childhood. It's important in those moments that you're able to pause and check in with yourself. Close your eyes and imagine that younger part of you, whatever part feels most present, and silently say to yourself, I see you. I'm completely here with you now. Your needs matter. You're safe with me. Visualize this part of you. It helps to make that reconnection even stronger. And this part of you might be reluctant, so don't get discouraged. We just have to keep showing up and showing that we will consistently listen and meet her needs and provide safety so she can relax, knowing the healthy adult part of you is now running the show. And it's important to remember that this practice takes time, patience, and persistence. Sometimes our ego or our critical inner voice comes in the back door, even when we're attempting to heal old wounds, because we begin judging ourselves or our abilities. And again, that's just a protective part of you trying to keep you safe and in your comfort zone. So anytime we're growing, there will be some discomfort, but we just have to learn to get comfortable with discomfort and be with it and allow it to come in without trying to push it away or change it. High achieving women often struggle with this because we have perfectionistic tendencies and we want to be able to do things correctly the first time. But this truly is a practice. And so we just have to keep showing up with the intention that we want to reconnect. And eventually we will. And if that still feels daunting, I would encourage you to find someone that can work with you on a heart-centered level, doing hypnotherapy sessions where we bypass the conscious mind and we go immediately to the subconscious mind where the inner child resides. We work with the body in order to retrieve the parts of us that have been so disconnected and suppressed, that are hiding in the shadows. And you're creating a relationship that wasn't actually there before. And so, like any relationship, we have to get to know that part of us. We have to be patient with that part. We have to be willing to show up again and again and again and just be present for whatever is there for us. And then the nervous system starts to realize and associate safety with your own presence, instead of feeling like we need someone else or something outside of us to help us regulate our nervous system. And over time, this rewires the subconscious and the body to expect safety, even if at first it's just subtle shifts or quiet moments of presence. The first step isn't doing 100 different healing practices. It's showing up for that younger part of you that's carried all these unmet needs for decades for most of us. And when you do, you stop abandoning yourself in the exact same ways others used to. If you want a step-by-step process for how you can spot these patterns and start reparenting yourself and reconnecting to your own inner child, download my free self-worth audit in the description below. There, you'll also find my free Return to Yourself audio track that can help you to calm your body, reset your nervous system, and begin to reconnect to your authentic self. Your inner child has been waiting for you. So let's start showing up and meeting her and reconnecting with her today. Because without sounding dramatic, it has been the most life-changing thing I have ever done on my healing journey. Allowing myself to be comfortable looking inward and reconnecting to those parts of myself that I had placed so far in the darkness because I was so afraid that if people saw those parts of me, they would reject or abandon me. And it has allowed me to reconnect with that authentic part of me. The part of me that in childhood had no shame and would show up in full authenticity, the true, unfiltered version of me. It felt scary at first, but the more I practiced and the more I committed to this process, the easier and more effortless it became. And any time when I'm having a difficult time or I see myself in some of these signs, I will immediately pause and go inward, knowing that it's just a younger version of me that has been activated because an old wound has gotten pinged and it's ready to come up and be witnessed and released. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for doing this brave work. And I will catch you on the next video. Take care.